And that brings the total, if my maths is correct, 24. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So by far the most requested thing on this channel, and just to me in general, is what happened to the A7? Where's the A7? Why did you sell it? What's happening with the 205? And I've been very quiet on both of them. So I thought, let's do a garage update, and where better else to do it than in a garage. So I'll do a full update video on the 205. I did record like 7 or 8 videos, but as you can see, it's no further forward really than it was. So we'll do that another day, but let's talk about the A7. Where did it go? Well, I sold it. Yeah, go on. Where was I? So why did I sell the A7, and do I regret it? Yes and no. I regret getting rid of the car because I loved that car, and I strongly believe, in my own honest opinion, that there is no better car to get than that. That was economical, as quick, as capable, as good looking, as practical, as reliable. It was reliable, although we'll get into that. I just don't think there's another car that can do all of that in one whole package. There's cars that are faster, the cars that are more practical, the cars that are more comfortable, the cars that are more luxurious, but together as a collective lump that does everything, that car was amazing. I loved that car. I would have one of them cars again in a heartbeat. Do I regret selling it? No. I don't regret the decision to sell it. I regret getting rid of the car, but I don't regret the decision to sell it because it was expensive. Very, very expensive to run. But the main reason was I don't need a car. So I sold the A7 back in June. It is currently November. This clearly hasn't been on the road at any point. So I haven't had a car now for almost 5 months, and I've not needed a car for the past 5 months. So there you go. I don't need a car, so I shouldn't have a car, but I want a car because I like the freedom and I want to take the boys places and stuff. But obviously with COVID happening, there's nowhere we could really go. There's nothing we could really do. The whole plans for having the A7 are gone. Excuse me. Busy. So I had full intention of keeping the A7. The whole plan was to keep it. Well, you can stop doing this right now. Oi. Right, so I had full intentions of keeping that car for a good amount of time, like 7, 8 years. We were going to do road trips in it. There was lots of stuff planned, and then kind of COVID happened, and then all them plans are gone. Whether they'll come back in the future, I don't know. So my thinking was sell the car, get the money for it, and then if I need a car like that again in like 2 years time, I'll have all that money sat there waiting for it. Although that money's now gone, but you know, I bought that car for a reason. Them reasons no longer stood. Sold the car. When I bought that car, I was a full-time engineer on 30 plus grand a year. I was then doing YouTube, which I was getting like a decent amount of money for, but nothing really special. And then around October last year, I started doing YouTube full-time, so I left my job. So I was probably only getting paid about 15% of what I was when I was doing the two together. But quality of life was far more important to me than money ever could be. And I think between that October and then the June of me selling the car, so for like 9 months, I think I'd done about 1,000 miles in the car, and realistically that was only ever me and Chelsea going somewhere, which we could have just done in her car. So it was a complete waste of time having it, and especially when you realise how much it cost, which we'll get into right now. I've got all the figures here, so let me go through it. We'll get through this video eventually. Right, get off my car, because when it's painted you can't do that. Don't get used to doing it now, because once it's painted I'll smack your bum so hard. I'll put all the figures up on screen so you can see them a lot more clearly, because I'm going to be racking through these very quickly. So the car on the forecourt was £30,500. So that's when I went to the garage. That's how much it was. That's when I was like, I'm buying it. Now obviously I couldn't afford it outright, so I took it on finance, as most people probably would. But I did have full intention of buying it outright. I just didn't have £30,000 then and there. So I took it on finance, and I was paying £513 and 57 pence a month. I also secured it with a £300 deposit, which covered also my alloy wheel insurance, which do not buy. I'm walking into that now. So I paid £513 and 57 pence until May 2019. So for 10 months total, so that was £5,135 and 70 pence. Now I took that out on 10.87% APR or something daft, because like I said, I had in full intention of buying it, so I wasn't particularly bothered about the interest. So I would say try avoid finance if you can. So on the 21st of May 2019, I then paid £26,752 and 32 pence, and that was the car mine, because I wanted to do modifications to it, and finance agreements don't let you do modifications. They can just take the car back off you. So I had to buy it outright anyways to do the stuff I wanted to do to it. So in total, the car cost me £32,180.05. That's a lot of money. So then on the 17th of June 2020, this year is when I sold it, and I got £17,250 for it. So that was a total loss of £14,938.05. So in 2 years, it cost me basically 15 grand in just depreciation alone. So it's about 7.5 grand a year. And bear in mind, I didn't drive it for 9 months. I paid that for no reason. So that alone was enough to make me sell it, to be honest. That was a ridiculous figure. But let's go further into it, because it gets worse. So then, the upkeep costs, because that's just the cost of the car. What about upkeep? Tax, £140 a year, so £280. £50 a year for an MOT, two of them, £100. A brake fluid service, £69. A minor service, £169. I also actually got, because I bought an approved used Audi from an Audi dealership, I got 2 free services as well, so I did have a major and minor service during that, which was £329 and £169. So I got like £500 free servicing from them, so you could add £500 on, but we won't. All 4 tyres, £1,150. Brake pads and discs, £1,328.50. And then I had to replace the turbo at £2,200. And that was it. So realistically, it was a very reliable car. The turbo was potentially my own fault or just a very freak accident. They still have no idea how it happened. A turbo sucks air through it. Something hit the fan and the fan blade was bent. But it was bent the opposite way to the way the airflow goes through it. So they have no idea how it happened. It's as if the turbo, something came through the wrong way through the turbo. They have no idea. It did coincide for when I took it for a little bit of a swim, so it was kind of my fault. But realistically, going through that list, all wear and tear, just services and stuff. So in terms of reliability, it worked perfectly, nothing went wrong with it. And then obviously I've got to insure the car. Now insurance is a weird one because I was with the same company as the A5, so it's just swapping over, so I don't have like a set price. And then all the stuff's like when I make amendments and I put my private plate on and stuff, I've got to pay like £20 admin fee, so the figures are quite a little bit off. I think the first year was like £650 insurance. But what I actually paid was £860.88. That was with amendments and changes and all things like that. And then the second year I ended up paying £972.11. And again, that was with a load of amendments because I'd changed the wheels, changed the exhaust, remapped the car, which I declared to my insurance every time I'd done something. So obviously that was like £30 to change it, £20 to change it, £30 to change it, with like a slight increase in the premium each time. But again, I think on paper the quote for the year was about £750, so it had gone up. And then before I sold it, I got my renewal quote, which was £1,320, and that was with no amendments. That's because somebody had an accident with me, but obviously my insurance premium goes up. So my insurance had doubled in 2 years, and yeah, I'm not happy with it. So the upkeep total in 2 years was £7,129.49, and that's on top of the 15 grand the car depreciated. And then we've got modifications. Now obviously everyone isn't going to have these aren't general running costs, these are just things that I chose to do, but it's still obviously how much it cost me. So alloys, £1,100. Exhaust, £950 fitted and delivered. Remap, £250. So all in for that, £2,300. And that brings the total, if my maths is correct, £24,367.54 in 2 years. That's over 12 grand a year that car cost me. So considering I don't drive anywhere, don't go anywhere, I'm not paying 12.5 grand a year just to have it sat on my drive. So this is what I'm saying. That car was beautiful. I loved it. I would have loved to keep it, but logically and reasonably, it just was not feasible, and it was a right decision to get rid of it because I don't even earn that much money a year anymore. I can't then spend it on a car. I've got a house, dogs, everything else to pay for. It's a very expensive car to run, which at the end of the day, it is still like a 60 grand car. Just because you buy it for cheaper doesn't mean it's not a 60 grand car. Tyres, brakes, all things like that are of a 60 grand car. Obviously every year I kept it, the depreciation would have got less and less. So if you were to buy it now at 19 grand or whatever it was, it wouldn't lose 15 grand in value over the next 2 years. It'd maybe only lose like 6 or 7. I don't know. But I wasn't prepared to lose any more money on it, so I just sold it. I did get a price for it in February, so like 3-4 months prior, and they offered me 18.7 for it. Now bear in mind I did sell it for 17.2, and it didn't drive anywhere in that time because it was locked down, so that car did not move at all. No more mileages on it, nothing. And it dropped £1,500 in 4 months, and I didn't drive it anywhere. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to lose this money anymore. I also have the repair bill cost, because if you didn't know, somebody did lightly tap the front of my car when I was on a roundabout at one point, and it made a little bit of a mess. Now, absolutely zero mechanical damage, no suspension damage, no wheel damage, no frame damage, nothing. Just sheer cosmetic damage, that's all it was. £12,000 repair bill. 11,957.75. To be exact, purely cosmetic. There was, like I said, there was no mechanical, engine damage, nothing. That was just for like the headlight, the bumper, the grille, and the bonnet. 12 grand. So it's very expensive, and to break that down, there was like 2,000 for a headlight, 700 for a grille, 600 bumper, 900 bonnet, 400 wing, and like it was £7,500 in total for parts. And then there was labour and material. Obviously you could probably do that cheaper, that's through insurance, so I'm sure there's a premium on that, and it went all through Audi, so you could do it a lot cheaper. But if you're planning on getting a car like that, just be aware, parts are very expensive. That's kind of what I'm getting at, like 2 grand for a headlight. Christ, I looked at new headlights for this. New headlights, indicators, rear lights, wing mirrors, I don't even think hit £100. I'm in it for cheap motoring, because like I said, it won't probably drive anywhere very often. It'll just get ragged to maybe somewhere for a park to take the boys for a walk and then home. Didn't need anything special. This will do. Now it does have a little special place in my heart, so I will look after it. So yeah, that's why I sold the A7. I am very sad to see it go, but as you can see from that, £24,000 for 2 years worth of motoring when I'm not driving the car, I couldn't maintain that. Like I said, I was going to put the money aside, wait maybe 2 years, and then once everything's back to kind of normal again, and you know, the pub fests on and all the stuff we wanted to do this year is kind of available again, and we can go on a road trip and take the boys exploring the UK and stuff. I was then going to spend that 17 grand basically on that A7 again. And yeah, but like I say, I've already spent that money. I've put a lot of money into this, and I've just spent it on other things because I don't need an expensive car. I simply don't. Like I say, I just don't have the income for it anymore. This is about as much as I can afford on my income currently. I do YouTube full time because these are my life, and I would rather spend every working day with these than spending 20 minutes in a nice car going to a place of work that I hated. So it makes sense. So hope that clears things up. We will do a full video on the 205, where it's at, what's happening to it. So yeah, please do drop a like, subscribe if you're new and want to see the journey of this car and just general life for me. Yeah, hope that clears things up. Peace out, guys.